Welcome to a new video. My name is Nina, if you don't already know, and I am an artist from Shetland, which is a series of small islands in the middle of the North Sea. And today's video, I am going to be going out and about with my sketchbooks, with my new little gouache paint set, and I am going to go and study some of the landscape because I want to make some postcards of Shetland to make into prints and get them in some of the shops here. And the first stage is to take some notes, so that's what we're going to do today. So I'm just kind of walking. I'm not actually going onto the beach because I want to get a view of the beach. I mean, this is quite a nice spot, really. Yeah. Oh, wow. The waves, man. Think about this. There are a lot of people here today. There's like this little bakery that runs on Saturday. It's like a community thing and it's gotten really popular, so I think that's why there's actually mobs of people at the beach today. But I was just going to show you some of the sketches and stuff that I did. I'm learning a few things about painting outside. One, I need to go get some clips to hold the sketchbooks open because I realised that when it gets a little bit windier, which it was getting a bit windier, then it starts to blow everywhere. So I think like what I have painted is kind of smushed together now. But you know what, this is just for learning. Yeah. So we started off doing some sketches, like some note-taking sort of sketches. I feel like there's not much to really tell you about them. Other than I think I quite like doing the sort of very simple shapes. I think that's probably quite a good method of getting things down. But I then like laid that to the side and I got my gouache paints open. I was actually quite impressed with this little painting and I wish it wasn't so smudged. So yeah, I did that one, which I really like, and then I laid that to the side. I also realised that if I water down the gouache paints a lot, then obviously they are actually going to take a little while to dry because water. Because that one was kind of drying and I didn't want to totally smudge it, but it has turned out quite smudged. I then went on to this bigger sketchbook, which I think I quite like. I think it makes you be a little bit more loose perhaps, and I liked being a bit more intense with some of the colours. And then the very last thing I did was this one, which is totally smooshed. And the colours are not accurate at all now, but I did this. I don't actually know. Yeah, it's this way up. But that was actually just taking in some of like the colours, like taking notes of the colours here rather than actually trying to paint the scene, which I thought was quite fun. And I think I just want to do so much more of this. Like I just want to get my setup down so I could actually just sit there for hours, because since the light's always changing, the colours always changing, and I feel like there's so many paintings to be found while sitting in that one spot. But now I do want to head up to the town and I want to do some sketching up there. Really want to do that, so I'm gonna go back home briefly. Luckily I'm not too far away from home, so I'm gonna go home briefly. I'm going to get some more like kitchen roll. I'll maybe refill my paint water, and I'm gonna get some of those clips that I was talking about, how those would be really handy. And then yeah, we're gonna go up to town and kind of do the same thing. This is such a fun way to spend Saturday. Okay, so I'm now in town. It feels really warm in the car. Don't know what I'll be like outside. But got the clips. Got some more tissue paper. Kitchen roll. Not tissue paper. And my paints, which I'm learning have to stay this way and not be chucked about. Okay, I am back in the car and I feel like I didn't really film very much when I was actually sat painting. There's quite a few people about and I feel like I'm still nervous about painting, I don't know, in front of people. Not that much, I think also it's just like the added like setting up my little phone feels more intimidating, which I know it shouldn't, and I will get over that, but that was really enjoyable. It did take me a moment to actually get used to people being around me, like quite close, and like, you know, you can tell people are looking down at what you're doing, and it definitely took me a little bit of time to kind of get into, to just let that all go and just to get into the way of like painting. But it was really fun and I really want to do more of that. I feel like I've said that so many times. Yeah, really fun. I actually also chatted to quite a few people, which was really nice. There's a lovely person. I don't know what sort of age they were, maybe like 14, 15. Like, see when kids are like nice, like teenage kids are really nice. It just warms my heart so much because I'm low-key, I feel like kind of scared of teenagers. But yeah. So I'm now going to show you all the little bits that I did today. So I'll just run through these quickly. So this was over at St Ninian's Isle, and yeah, pretty sketchy. Yeah, I kind of moved on to starting to do just these like shapes, which I feel like is actually a good way of looking at things, just like breaking it down. And then we went up to town, and this is the first drawing I did, which I quite like. I really like this area of the pier because you have all these buildings that are quite old, and I just love the character in them. I didn't even notice this getting wet when I was drawing it. And then I moved over to sitting like here on the bench, and that's where I did my painting. And I did this sketch first, and then yeah, another one which I more just like broke down the shapes, just very rough. And then I got this one out. It's wild, we're actually at the end of this sketchbook. Okay. So there's definitely a few things I feel like I need to learn with going out and painting. Obviously you can see that the paper has stuck together here. But I mean, I'm not really fussed because I'm not really intending these paintings to be anything. They're just like references. I really enjoyed doing this. I feel like the colours are not coming through on camera as they are in real life. This is a lot more pink. This is quite green. But everything looks quite dull on camera. But yeah, no, I like it. I feel like it's got enough information for me to work from. So that was the idea. And then the other paintings I did, so when I was over at St. Ninian's, oh yeah, I think I did show you this earlier, but this one, and then I did just like some taking notes of some of the colours. But yeah, I really need to figure out how to, I think I maybe just need to paint with less water. I'm not sure. I'm like, how do I get this so I'm not going to have pages stick together? I'm not sure. I just tried to film this and I feel like I just chat. I'm trying not to chat too much, but hello. It is now a week later than the last time I saw you. My plan for today was going to be to do another day of that, going out and painting. And I might do a little bit of that, but I just wanted to update you on this process because a couple of evenings of this week I've been working on this project and thinking about the result I want to have with these pictures. I don't think I've mentioned in this video, I'm not sure, but I have actually tried to do this project like a couple other times before and it's been really frustrating, and if I'm being honest, it just wasn't the right time in my practice to be doing work like this. I was making quite different stuff at the time, so I felt very like misaligned with my practice. But now I feel like I really want to do this and I don't have any sort of conflict with myself about this project, which sounds really like drastic and serious, but because I'm just trying to make some nice little prints. But there's something about when you're trying to create work that isn't meant to be made yet. It just doesn't work. Anyway, so following on from last week's sketches, I then started thinking about composition because I know from the other times round when I've tried to do this project before and I've tried to paint St. Ninian's Isle before, the beach that I was at, I've tried to paint that before and never liked what has come of it. And so I really started thinking like, what is it that hasn't been working previously? And I kind of thought about it and I was like, I just haven't had the composition down. I've not been thinking about composition, and composition is kind of essential for making a satisfying piece of work. This is my little sketches that I started doing, and they're very brief and I only did a couple of them because I think I kind of figured it out pretty quickly. I definitely want to do St. Ninian's Isle as a portrait painting and not as a landscape because I think it just doesn't look as good. Anyway, so I did these like very rough sketches. I did a couple sketches actually of St. Ninian's. Here you go. Which were really brief, and it was actually also kind of just thinking about that composition breakdown. And then I started to think further of like, why have I not liked the paintings I've done previously? Like, what is it that I've not enjoyed about the results? And it was actually when I was painting, I think this one, or maybe this one. I don't really remember which way around I did it, but I realised, I was like, wait a minute, I'm doing illustrative kind of work. Maybe I should go take some notes from some of the illustrators that I really like and that I think make really charming pictures. And I started realising I'm always just working in paint and feel like I'm not thinking like creatively about how I can add more like texture and a bit more fun to my work. That's kind of actually been my realisation, is that I'm doing illustrative work, but I've not been looking at any illustrators. I've never studied like illustration. And so my plan is for today, actually, instead of going out to other locations, I might go out to one place I can think of and just do some brief sketching. But what I'd actually like to do, which is something that I feel like I've not really done, I would like to play about with mark making, just trying out some different ideas, looking at some illustrators that I like and trying to break down how they make their charming little paintings or pictures. I've also got like a few pages primed in here ready to go for doing some little mark making and like layering up paint. But yeah, let's just have a little like play. I think using sponges could be a fun way of getting textures. I'm kind of wondering if I could like cut this old loofah up, because like imagine some of the textures that you could probably get from this, or like printing, like roll. Oh. My goodness, imagine making that as like a tomato stamp. Or like a cucumber. I'm in the car. I stopped playing about with mark making. I don't think it's really going very successfully, but I will try more when I'm back home. But for right now, I'm gonna get out of the car and I'm gonna do a little bit of sketching. I'm in a part of Sandwick, which is a village in the South End, and I was hoping that there was going to be a lot more sailboats down here, because that was my plan, that I'd get to draw some cute little boats, but there's literally only one sitting in front of me, so not quite the concept or composition that I was thinking or looking for. But I might walk up the hill because I think that's got a better view. Yeah, I'm gonna probably walk up the hill because when I was driving down there were so many moments in my brain where I was like, oh, that would be a brilliant composition. So I'm gonna go do that, I think. And I've been very minimal this time in what I bring, because I know obviously last week I was trying to do some painting, but I think there's a little bit more thought that I need to, I need to think about the setup there a little bit more. But I've got also, look how cute this little pencil pouch is, got for my birthday from my boyfriend. But it's really ideal because I keep throwing like these pencils, which I really like, in my pockets or in my bag, and then I don't know where they are and I don't want to lose them because I really like them. Anyway, that was a tangent. But all I have brought with me this time is my little sketchbook and my favourite little pencil. Yeah, keep it really simple. Do need to sharpen the pencil though, and I've got my little sharpening box here with me, so I'm just going to do that before we head out. We are once again back in the car. It's so cold outside, much colder than I thought it was. Luckily I had my gloves with me. I'm quite pleased with some of the little sketches that I've done. It's interesting because I think what I want to get from making these little postcards, I think I want to have like the looseness and the looseness, the kind of charm that I feel like my sketches managed to like capture, and then it's when it turns into paint, it's like, how do I keep that looseness? And I'm kind of wondering, because I guess a lot of doing the sketches is about you're not looking down at the page, you're kind of just letting your hand move with what you're seeing, and then like looking down at like every so often, you're not always just like fixated on the piece. So maybe that's something I need to take into the painting aspect, perhaps, because I really do love some of these sketches, and I don't know whether to other people they would just look like scribbles, but I just like them, I really do. But yeah, I'm quite hungry now, so I need to go home and have some lunch, and then we will get back to painting. I feel like this video is very much you are figuring things out with me. Like, I think sometimes when it comes to making these videos, it feels like I need to know what I'm doing to tell you, but I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm literally just trying to figure this all out. So I'm kind of thinking, obviously I started today doing more sort of texture and mark making work, and I do want to develop that, but now my thoughts are, I think I'm gonna lay it out in front of me. I'm gonna lay out this sketchbook. I'm gonna maybe just focus on painting some of these sketches and just see how they turn out, but I'm also going to lay out in front of me some paintings that I've done over the last couple months, because I feel like I'm searching and looking for inspiration elsewhere, but I also think I probably have my own like lessons, like things to learn from my own work. So yeah, I'm gonna lay it out, just some of the paintings that I have that I know I've made quite light-heartedly and not really thought about, so they're quite like organic, and I think that is really what the feeling or the kind of look that I want to have in these little postcards, these paintings. I have also just spent a little bit more time looking at Emma Carlisle's work, which I feel like if you're watching this, I feel like everybody knows who Emma Carlisle is. If you're in any way interested in illustration and you scroll on Instagram, you will definitely have come across her. So yeah, just looking at her work and some people who are kind of similar, and so much of what I love about her work is that a lot of her like more things she's done outside or like in her sketchbooks are really loose, and I like that. It's the same with like Sandy Hester. I absolutely adore her work, and I think there's just something about loose paintings, drawings, there's a charm to it when you can look at it and just know that the person making it they were having fun, they were immersed in the process. I love feeling that, and I think that's what I want to come of these little postcards. It's probably why I also really like my sketches, because that's the sort of zone I'm in when I'm doing any of these sketches. It's very much like I do not care, I'm just getting things down, I'm just and I think that's what I need to transfer into the paintings. So let's just try and do something. And I swear so much of art is about like thinking and not thinking, but yeah, let's just get set up and try some things. I think I'm just going to try my very best to just feel this out, taking in some of the vibes of these works, because I really like a lot of these paintings and these were very easy. Like I just was flowing when I made them, and I think I just need to like get that trust coming through again. Yeah. Okay, so it's now the next day, and these are two paintings that I did last night, which I really think are getting somewhere. Like, I think this is almost perfect. There's definitely like a little bit more work that I want to do over here because it just feels a little bare, so I need something going on. But yeah, I really like these. So yeah, I feel like we're finally getting somewhere. Like, these two little paintings have really made me feel a little bit more reassured in this project. And I guess like some of the lessons from this week, from the last couple of days, which I feel like I'm constantly almost learning the same things when it comes to my art practice, and if you stick around you'll probably hear these themes chatted about again and again on here, because I just think it's really relevant to at least how I make art, and that is that having self-trust is such a big part of creating. I think my struggle previously when I've tried to do this project, as I've mentioned earlier on, I think the biggest problem is that I have not felt confident in what I'm doing, and I feel like I've always been fighting the process. And I think yesterday afternoon, looking at some of the work that I have made before and kind of reassuring myself that I don't need to keep on searching for a language, you know, for an answer of how I should paint these postcards, how I should paint these little paintings, and realizing like I actually already have the answers, because I can make cute little paintings. I have done several of these before, and I have work that I enjoy, and yeah, there's definitely a lesson to be learned there about looking at your own work and learning from your own work. And I feel like that's what I was doing yesterday. It was kind of having a combination of like a little bit more trust in myself that I do know how to do this. I do have the capacity and the capability, and also looking at work I've made previously and trying to understand how the image is successful, like what have I done that I enjoy about that painting, and how can I transfer that into something new. And I feel like maybe that's really obvious. It probably is, but I feel like this is just a lesson that I think I'm continuing to be in a cycle of. Like, I like to fight with myself when it comes to making things and making new things, because I always get very in my head. I think it's a nervousness, it's a fear about, I guess, the unknown, and when I go into the making process with that fear, then I just think things never work out. And so yesterday afternoon was definitely a moment of reassuring myself and listening to that artist intuition, which is something that has developed over years of making. And I feel like in some ways it's kind of annoying and frustrating that I feel like I'm constantly looking outside of the work that I make myself to figure out how other people do make their own work. And I think sometimes I need to remind myself that maybe I have my own language that I can talk with, and maybe I should rely on that and have a little bit more belief there. Yeah, I think this is just like the typical story and lesson that I will continue to probably talk about and learn over and over again. So I kind of feel like that is the hurdle that I've overcome in the last couple of days. It's like, look, I actually have all the tools at hand. I don't need to go searching elsewhere. Although, whilst I say that, I also do want to follow through with the things I said earlier. Like, I really think I want to spend more time playing about with mark making, testing, maybe like mixing media, and also continuing to take inspiration from other artists, because I do think those are really valuable things, but it's just finding that balance of allowing yourself to make the art that you're going to make, and you need to have the confidence to express it because nobody else is going to do it for you. And I think sometimes I just forget about that, or I just lose the trust, to be honest. I'm really happy with like the couple paintings that I did yesterday afternoon. I'm sorry that there's no footage of me painting them. I did them in the evening and I wasn't hugely optimistic about what I'd create, but I'm really happy with how they turned out. A few more tweaks, but I think I'm on the right roll and the right rhythm now. And I'll also mention that I did work from my sketchbook for both of these paintings, which I think has just reassured me that this is like an essential part of this process, because even this little painting is from a sketch that I did last weekend, which I didn't even have the intention of making. I went on a walk and I actually quite actively went on this walk saying to myself, I'm not going to go out looking for things to draw, but I did take my sketchbook with me and I ended up taking this little note, and that's where I've managed to get this painting from. So yeah, this is definitely like a method that's working really well for me, and I think I just need to follow what feels right to be honest, and remove some of the doubt, some of the question, and maybe be a little bit more patient with myself. But yeah, so I'm happy that we've ended on a good note. I am going to end this video here because it's a little bit long, but there will be more videos about this project to come, so if you're intrigued to see what I eventually make and turn into postcards, what the end result is, then please subscribe, because I will be making videos on the whole process. And if you enjoyed anything any part of this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any tips on how to like find that sense of trust in yourself and in your practice and removing fear, I'd love to hear. Comment down below about it, because yeah, I think this is probably like going to be one of the major topics that I think comes up again and again, because it's just so prevalent in my practice, is this relationship between fear and trust in the art process and its effect on your creativity. Yeah, and kind of navigating that. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you next Sunday for another one. Goodbye!